You're welcome to Sports Orbit. My name is Afa Cho. Salif Usman is also in the studio with me on today's edition of the program. Salif, welcome to Sports Orbit after being off air for a while.
Thank you, Ashley. So this is my pleasure to be back on air.
All right, on today's edition of the program, we'll begin straight from the draws of the Under-20 AFCON, where the Flying Eagles of Nigeria have been drawn alongside Tunisia, Kenya, and Morocco for the tournament, which is scheduled to take place in Egypt from the 27th of April to 18th May this year. The withdrawal conducted in the headquarters of the Egyptian Football Association in Cairo yesterday. Egypt and South Africa, who were originally in Nigeria's pool before Cote d'Ivoire withdrew as tournament hosts, found themselves in Group A. New host Egypt head Group A, which has 5 teams, with Zambia, Sierra Leone, South Africa, and Tanzania as the other teams. However, just like it was original, the Flying Eagles will confront 2 North African teams, this time Tunisia and Morocco, as well as East Africans, Kenya, for a place in the quarterfinal. So, of course, a new host for the Under-20 after Cote d'Ivoire withdrew. Egypt were awarded the host, and that draw had to be done again. And well, one might not say how favorable it is for the Flying Eagles, but I mean, this is the Under-20 where we have a good pedigree and track record in these competitions. So,
But the group that was then.
yeah, sure.
Yes,
Exactly.
although we are still the record holder of the tournament. Have won it 7 times. No any nation has won it 7 times. We have done it. But looking at our recent performance at this level is not too very parametric. But looking at this draw, unlike the initial draw where in the host with the South Africa and Egypt, and at the same time, looking at Tunisia's and Morocco and as well as Kenya, to me, I wouldn't say either it was easy now or it was easy before. But to me, it's almost the same. The group still look at very very tough. But all you need to do, and if you are going for a war, it doesn't expect anything less. All you need to do just prepare all your arsenal and ensure that you confront everything. And if you are going for a tournament, you must win. You should be ready to play anything that comes your way. So, Coach Juberu and his technical crew. Thank God they have become and they are back in Abuja for final touches. Earlier they were in Casina just to acclimatize, hoping that Casina have the same weather that would look like Egypt, and now they are back in Abuja and to finish so they play at preparation. So all Coach Juberus and his technical crew need to do is to ensure that they go with their game plan and falsify the team. Don't expect anything. You're going to play any less team. Tunisia are also always a tough side. Morocco, if you look at the Morocco, their football has grown over the years. And if you are coming against Morocco, Kenya may look as a minor in this group, but on paper, but in a real sense, there's no minor in football any longer. The small team can shock you, and you can. A good example is what the Super Eagles is suffering in the group of World Cup qualifier. Because if you look at the World Cup qualifier, apart from South Africa, that has named every other team that were in group together, and not by anywhere standard close to Nigeria. But you see how we are struggling. We are struggling in that group. So there's no any minor name in the world of football. So Juberu and his technical must prepare them and ensure that they confront the meal, and all you need to do if you are able to win the first 2 matches or win two matches out of the three matches, that's the next round of the competition.
All right, so some other news now talking about golf this time, where veteran female golfer and newly appointed member of the Board of Trustees, Mrs. Grace Ihionvere, has announced her decision to withdraw from the captain race of the golf club. Of course, the withdrawal, according to her, is due to her appointment as a member of the Board of Trustees of the IUP Golf Club.
Yeah, yes, though she has withdrawn, after one thing that is very constant in Nigeria is constant in the world is changes. The world keep on changing, and a lot of things keep on changing. Since the history of this is the first time we are seeing it. Since the advent of the IUB Golf Club for over 2 decades now, going to 3 decades now, a woman has never challenged a man for the captainship. But only God knows, so from nowhere this year, the election is going to be held on the 25th of this month. Two women stand up and pick a form to challenge men for the captaincy of the club. All the normal head will normal have a man for the captain of the club, and then we have the ladies or the lady captain for the lady section. But this time around, the lady wants to occupy all the positions, be the captain of the club at the same time, be the captain of the lady section. So Grace Egbegore, yes, he is eminently qualified. He's one of the a known name in Abidjan club. He has been there for a very year, And apart from her passion for the game of football, for the game of golf, he has also made a lot of contributions. One of those who have contributed to the development of Abidjan in terms of personal contribution to the development of the golf. And apart from her, there are other ladies, although not mentioned, but as we are hearing from the great one, is the current lady captain of the club, the former DG of NAFTIC.
Yeah.
So he's the current lady captain of the club. He's the second lady we are hearing from the group. And he's also pick a form to challenge the challenge men for the captainship of the club. In the tradition in the past, it's always that it's only 1 year tenure. Once the current captain is going, the assistant captain succeeded him. But this time around, the ladies are willing to challenge men for the club. But Grace Weware has pulled out because of her appointment as a board member of the club. That automatically knocked her off. And it's good. But I don't know whether the ladies are now going to throw their way behind the current lady captain to go all out against him. We are to be seen.
All right, on to other matters now. On a sad note, of course, over the weekend we heard of the demise of former Nigerian captain and coach Christian Chukwu, who passed away on Saturday. And of course, same Saturday, another former teammate of his, that's talking about Charles Bassey, also passed on Saturday. What a sad time for Nigerian football. Two great men who brought honors to this country, winning the first ever AFCON for Nigeria. Well, sad one for the football community in Nigeria.
Yeah, sad one in this, and with their death, they are going to at least a total of 9 of that member of that squad has gone, has exited this world.
Yeah.
And a sad one is just on Saturday, and this is the first time the men that were able to give Nigeria their first major titles in the game of football, giving us that honor to win the Africa Cup of Nations in 1980. But what you see that either these great men has been honored, has been really immortalized or remembered when they are alive. It's a different thing. I read on a lot of social media, a lot of things are trending on the social media. So the Nigeria Football Federation has come out to challenge any individuals. People are alleging that Christian Chukwu was still being owing. Christian Chukwu coached Nigerian Super Eagles between 2000 with all the year 2002 to 2005 as head coach of the Super Eagles, and led the team to the third place in AFCON to finish 2004. And because of our inability to qualify for the 2006 World Cup, he was sacked after the 1-1 draw with Angola in Kano. And then it was succeeded by Austin Egbabo. But ever since then, he has never returned into coach the Super Eagles. But a lot of things trending on social media that is being owned by Nigeria Football Federation to the tune of $120,000. But Nigeria Football Federation has come out to challenge anybody. According to the General Secretary of Nigeria Football Federation, Dr. Mohamed Sinisi, clearly said that for the past 10 years since he came, as the Secretary of Nigeria Football Federation, he has verified all the documents within the Nigeria Football Federation, that he cannot trace to any document that clearly say that Nigeria, the football house is owing Christian Chukwu a kobo. And he didn't even stop there. That if there's anybody that has any document, valid document to claim that yes, the NFL are still owing any coach, they should come forward. And I think it is a good opportunity for some people, if truly you have that document, because there's always this rumor that Nigerian Football Federation are owing a lot of coaches, and now they have come out to challenge anybody that if you have a document to prove that we are owing you any coaches, although there's no allegation, if you know that even the late Stephen Casey, that the late Stephen Casey still be owing up to today, but Senusi has come out clearly to say that if not just Christian Chukwu, according to you, they are not owing Christian Chukwu any kobo, and you didn't stop that. If there are any document, if there's any way you can trace them to prove that they are still owing any coach, maybe with the exception of the current coach, I don't know, but with any coach that have served Nigeria Football Federation in the last 10 years, if you have that any document that has that document, you come forward. So if you have any document, any claim to say that the coach, any coach you know that of course Nigeria Football Federation coach in the national team at any level you know before, and I still be, please come forward and prove your case and present the document to the Nigeria Football Federation.
All right, let's move on from that to volleyball, where Zamalek of Egypt has emerged victorious in an all-Egyptian final of the African Women Volleyball Club Championship, which concluded in Abuja on Sunday. The victory marks a successful title defense for Zamalek, who showcased their dominance on the court in the Nigerian's capital, Trillion. And counter began with Zamalek narrowly taking the first set 29-27, while but the final score ended up, I think, 25-22 to level the match. But I mean, the story here is that Zamalek has ended up winning, coming to Nigeria, who hosted, but we saw two Egyptians play in the final of that tournament.
The Germans, by that victory, retained the titles.
Yeah.
He is not before retaining the title. And yes, first and foremost, I commended the kudos to the Nigeria Custom for hosting the competitions. Very memorable organization. The organization is very superb, and they ensure that without any hitch, hosting that tournament for 2 weeks running without any hitch here and there. So a good competition to go to Nigeria Custom. And at the same time, and one other thing that here he came to the game of football, the other African, particularly the West Africans, and particularly the West Africans and Nigerians inclusive, needs to do more if we must challenge the North Africans. It's like it appears that when in sport, the North Africans are dominating. If you recall, even if you go to the All Africa game, it has always been Egypt winning, topping in the medal table, followed by Nigeria's trying to give them a tough challenge, but we will not be up there. And if you look at that bowling ball, two Egypt, just like say, two Egyptians playing the final, and both Germans and Alali never didn't lost any single match until that final. And so that means Zamalek won the tournament without causing any defeat, and Alali lost in the final. Lost the only defeat they lost in the final. And at the same time, another Tunisian side, FC Carthage, also played the semi-final of the competition. Although they lost to the Zamalek in the semi-final, and lost the third place match to the Kenyan side. They call them Pipers. Can't remember the Kenyan team. They lost to the Kenyans. They lost the bronze medal game to the Kenya yesterday. So what is mean that the top four, out of the top four team, three Northern African and just one from the East Africa. So the West African nations and probably Central Africans and the South African need to do more. Need to up their game, because it's like the North Africans are having an edge. Because if you will look at how the North African play throughout the tournament, anytime they come against anything, it's like a whitewash. We are not any match to them. The two Nigerian team that participated in that competition ended in a classification game, ended in a 11 position and 10 position respectively. Both the Nigeria Custom ladies and the NAF ladies, all of them ended in the 10 and 11 position. The Custom only managed to even win their first only opening match, and after that they couldn't get any apart from the classification one, they will be able to get up their game to even finish 11 on the log. So we need to do more, and I commended the decision of the Custom, and thank God is the one that the Custom is the one that organized this competition and backed the competition. So they need, since the Custom it clearly shows that the man have interest in sport, and they clearly have interest, so you need to invest more on those ladies and to ensure that they give Nigeria a good image when they go to a continental championship.
All right, to some NPFL news now, where the management of the Katsina State government has dissolved the management and board of Katsina United following their humiliating loss 6-1 to Ikorodu United in their match day 31 defeat in the NPFL. Well, a humiliating defeat it was, which was a surprising scoreline for a lot of us who saw that result.
Yeah, well, it's quite disappointing, and it's the normal tradition in football. Once a club suffer a heavy defeat, the management should be expected that they have to so then edge it to explain so that maybe they don't know what they are doing there. and the the Katsina State government have taken the best decision by sacking all the management team, and they have appointed a two management committee to be the one with team for pending until they appointed the substantive management team on the club. So, and I hope that the new management committee, the two management committee now will be able to put the team and ensure that the team progresses well in the ongoing Premier League season.
Of course, in other matches in the NPFL for Heartland, good result they got over Enugu Rangers, who Heartland have been struggling, but coached by Emmanuel Amunike, getting that 2-0 win over their rental rivals Enugu Rangers in that one.
Yeah, Amunike, if you look at that, I think Amunike begin to show his influence in the Nigerian scene, probably from Owerri, although very close by, travel to Enugu, and the Enugu Rangers be one of the top side in the Nigerian league, the defending champion. No?
Yeah, Rangers,
defending champions, and then to beat them in Enugu 2-0. For me, it's a sweet victory for Heartland, and I think this will definitely influence their standing on the log.
Of course, other MPFL results, if we have the results, let's have a look at them. And of course, interesting to note also that Lobby Stars have been relegated, the way stands, from the NPFL after being there for quite a while. And quite unfortunate for Lobby Stars of Makudi.
Yeah, we saw it coming. Some of us who are very close to the club and to the leagues, following the league, we saw it coming from the one even when the Daniel Amokashi was brought in to serve the institution, and what was going on Amokashi seat. After that, Amokashi then Baba Ganero was brought in. After one match, he has to run back. So, I think we saw it coming, and
exactly.
oftentimes you hear I think to me. The state government have a blame in this whole scenario. Because they blame in those whole scenario, the mistake the state government, from my own view, this is my personal view. To me, when I fought the state government, is the mistake they made is by taking Lobby Star to under the sport council. It was a terrible mistake. There's many clubs. We know how civil servants operate, and if you allow the club to be run under a civil servant in the sport council setting, definitely the club cannot succeed. And you know how expensive it is to run a club in Nigeria, and to transport from one destination to another destination, and to putting the club under a civil service rule, under a sport council. And it's a sport council probably, apology to the director of sport and whoever. Probably may not have seen 2 million before. Now we are giving a club that has a budget overrunning to 20 million or 100 million. So I think something is going to happen. And I think, to me, that's why I fought the state government by moving the club from the board to run it under the sport council was a terrible mistake.
The other thing, I think the governor, infused politics into it, firing the other board because it was the board that was set up by the previous administration. So he actually brought politics into the game, and look where he has led us to. You brought a board who have successfully steered this team, even tried to bring them back from the brink of relegation to sustain them, fired the board, brought in a new board who knew next to nothing about how to run the club.
It's always a traditions in Nigeria. You know how those governors win their election. They're trying to compensate their boys, and the club is one of those things they use to compensate their boys. So you take a very rare or some exception who have the fears of God, or who believe in professionalism of the teams, that the club has to be run professional. If not, to see a governor who won an election and allow the previous board who were club appointed by his predecessor to remain. I think if at all it happened, just a few exception. And but just like you say, if you must bring your boys, it must be some people who know about the club.
All right, let's go to some other news now, straight to the EPL now, where, of course, Salah made history as Liverpool closing on 10 title. Of course, 2-1, it was over West Ham in that game yesterday at Anfield for Liverpool. Just 6 more points and they'll be home and dry. I mean, out of how many matches left now in the 6 matches, so Liverpool just need to win their next just 2 matches and the league is all but dry. And Arsenal over the weekend didn't do themselves any good by pulling out a 1-1 draw in that one also.
For me, it's like Arteta's or as which the Premier League title for Liverpool for a very long time. Because if you even when we expect Arsenal to even close the gap, that's when they'll drop a point, play against Everton, draw 1-1 against Everton, and that middle of that draw against Everton, I know that there was something is terribly wrong for Arsenal team. And the moment Liverpool win, what I say, at least 30 point difference. So how can you close the gap? The league is as good as done. But like I was joking with somebody today, I say even though Liverpool never winning the remaining 2 matches, Arsenal will definitely still lose 2 matches. So if Arsenal lose 2 matches, even though Liverpoul never play again, it's automatically the league is there. Also, congratulations to the player. Congratulations ahead to the Liverpools and for Salah, and Salah has also signed an extension to remain in the club
and good one for Liverpool.
So good one for them.
Of course, if we have some other matches too. Of course, Man City returned to winning ways. 5-2 over
5-9 over Crystal Palace.
All right.
Liverpool and Manchester United again suffered defeat against Newcastle yesterday. We don't. If we ask we don't really know what is terribly wrong with Manchester United. We hope that this is going to get better. When Amorim came in, people were hoping that based on his pedigree or what we are seeing with the sport club of Portugal, this is going to get better. But unfortunately, Man keep on struggling, and we don't know when the result is going to. But let's like a lot of people are saying, let's just wait to the end of the season. Probably he will be able to maintain their status and remain in the Premier League. But qualifying for any continental competition is very difficult for Man this season.
They're still in Europa Cup. If they win the Europa Cup,
that is the only way to get a continental ticket this season. And if they don't win, that would definitely be a big minus for Manchester United not to play in the continental in Europe next season. So, but let's hope that by the end of the season, when Amorim is going to take a full season next season, they put in 1 players they won, and then build the team won, they will now begin to see the result. But people begin to see that the problem of Man U is not about coach. We blame a lot of the man before Ten Hag. Ten Hag came. It couldn't make a difference. After the exit of Man U about Alex Ferguson, every coach that come to the club has strongly to maintain the Liverpool Man U pedigrees.
All right, we're out of time. That's the package for today, of course. But during the week, there will be Champions League return matches tomorrow, and of course on Wednesday. And we will keep an eye on them. Hopefully, back to give you a complete review of all that and other exciting stories as they happen around the world. That's a package for today. Saliku, thanks for being in the studio on today's edition of the program.
Thank you so much.
Until we come your way again, do have a wonderful week ahead. My name is Afacho, and it's bye for now.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.